How long we could just stare at each other without blinking. And 3, 2, 1.
Aloha, everybody! All in your places with your bright, shiny faces. Y'all look so pretty and stuff. This is the socially awkward part of the beginning of every So!
Well, we can move this along. What we'd like to do is take a vote on who's going to moderate this table. We're all in unanimous agreement. You should take this baby by the horns.
You're the vet of Metrocon.
Okay.
Let's do this.
The whole purpose of my mixing up the name tags, none of us up here know, well, except for me, know who we are. So we have to guess based on the specific questions that you give us without mentioning a name, but based on career, experience, life philosophy, existentialist views of the universe. And we have one question's worth to get.
What could possibly
Well,
go wrong?
how will they designate who the question is for?
Well, you
By
can point,
number
or you
or
could say
position?
the name, but then you have
Hey,
to
you,
direct the question
black guy.
to whoever. So yeah, you could say, Dante, I have a question for you, but then you would have to actually make the question applicable to whomever is on the name tag. And then Dante has the daunting task. See what I did there? Okay, so fire off a question. Okay, thanks a lot for coming, you guys.
Certainly the shortest.
Right here, this one right here.
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, you. Hi.
Next question.
We missed that one. Yes,
Can't
dog.
say the name, man.
If you could be a weapon or a meister, what would you be?
A weapon or I actually know who I am after I got it, right?
Yeah.
So
I'd
now,
be,
as an actor, you have to actually become
Dante,
that person.
someone over here knows what that
I know, a weapon or a meister?
Yes.
I don't exactly know what a meister is, but if I was a weapon, I'd probably be a nice, sexy, shiny sword. Therefore, I am Miss Brittany Karabowski.
Oh, somebody's won!
Here's one a brand new car in Canada. The OV says, like, you put the pen this Parker pen and pencil set in the beautiful brother typewriter.
Seriously? All right. Next contestant.
There's a question back there.
This may be an experiment that's never done again.
Yep.
Question for me.
Yep, for you. So, charging up the special beam cannon, what was that like?
Charging up the special beam cannon. Well, I must tell you. You're the only one not laughing at me.
I'm sorry.
Talk about the beans.
Well, I've worked so much, and done so many things, and partied so hard. It's hard to remember every particular beam cannon. It's been a lot of cannons, man. Right? Yeah!
You know, I was a dancer, for God's sake.
All right, yeah, we are whittling this down by attrition, so.
I'm feeling confident now.
Don't be too confident. One of you is black.
Why is it that you couldn't be completely honest with Mark throughout the whole taping of the reality show?
Just flew out the window.
I think I got this one.
Through the whole reality show.
I was upfront with him and laid it out on the table.
Did I have to talk out my emotions? Was it a lot of emotional stuff?
God.
Listen.
Not animation, not animation.
I should know. I have no idea who I am right now. So wait. So, but Mark and I, what was your question? How did you hear me the question again?
Thank God you're pretty.
Hold on.
I mean, honestly, you got all the way to the finale, and it just seemed like you let him on a little, and I let him on.
You know, that's the thing that I hate about most people when they think of beautiful women. They think just because we smile, we're friendly, we give a helping hand, we might, make out a little bit, doesn't mean it means that we're being supportive friends and we really like to kiss. But listen, it was a TV show. If you really think that's how I am, then you're stupid, honey, because my name is Janet Varney. Met her, so I would just, and she's never going to be my friend.
Now she hates you.
I don't sound anything like that, DC.
I think we've eliminated. Has everybody fallen into place?
She's got to figure. Oh yeah, ask her a question.
Mathematically, there's no other possible combinations.
But I want to hear the question they ask her.
Okay, somebody,
What's your
okay.
question?
I got one.
Okay,
Yeah. Here we go.
So, in the next game, how do you plan to spoil your arch nemesis, Chris?
Wait, who are you asking?
Her.
Which her?
The one I'm making eye contact with.
I
apologize. So in the next game, how do you plan on beating your arch nemesis, Chris?
Next game. Shooting with the laser beam.
I'm dead. So,
That's what we thought in the last 3 games before that too.
well, that's the magic of games, and so you just can't keep guessing. But I must be DC Douglas.
Yeah.
But you know what, let's do the question anyway.
Yeah.
On the body of Janet.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. You, because you, no offense, but you didn't get to ask. You got earlier, so.
That's okay, I messed up on the rules.
I also did not understand the rules. You were my sister. You were my sister.
So what are you gonna do with the avatar once you catch him?
I don't think I'll ever be able to catch the Avatar, because the Avatar is unstoppable! Particularly the second form.
Don't you think you've been leading the Avatar on?
I guess I must be Dante!
Beautiful fabulous crowd, thank you very much for coming down. We had a wonderful time.
Right, you're exactly.
Do you want to go faster?
Okay, that was a dumb idea, and I apologize. Bill Cosby.
We discovered very quickly that I don't know my own career. It had to happen to one of us, and I'm really glad it was the blonde.
And actually, DC sounds more like you than you do.
I know.
What was the reality show, by the way?
It's called Burning Love. It's not a real reality show. It was a fake reality show.
Wait a minute.
I didn't know you did reality shows.
Neither did I. Real or imagined.
All reality shows.
Fake.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but this one's funny on
This was
purpose.
a parody, yeah. But it was not a cartoon, so I just wasn't thinking along along those lines, but
That's how smart you guys are. You guys are like,
Yeah.
you guys are, there's no genres. that
they're
go-
always one step ahead of us.
Exactly, it's like they're jumping from genre to genre.
Tear down the wall, Mr. Gorbachev!
Topical.
Hey, let's turn this back into a proper panel now, shall we?
Yeah.
So it'll be the same thing, except different. Because
Do we need to move the names back?
I never. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
But this means that Phil becomes the man with no name.
Phil Lamarr. Phil Lamarr, everybody.
His liaisons come.
You know, the next time you do
Yeah.
that game though, get all the names, mix them all up, don't look, and just place.
Well, that's what I tried to do.
Because then you could be a part. You could have been
Yeah,
in that game too.
and just because we were one card short.
That's right. It's like musical chairs.
Yeah, they didn't. But they had one that said, "He's the black guy."
Bye-bye.
that was going love.
Phil would have made as soon as Paula Dean started it. 66 years ago when
I'm
she
sorry,
was
I have another
born.
convention. It's plantation theme. There's a lot of work for black actors there. A lot of work.
And I
Really could be worse.
down to him also. But we're just goofing around up here. You guys have questions, actual questions that we can discuss? Yeah, in the back. Yeah, what's up, man?
Dude, what was Comic-Con like?
What was Comic-Con like? Well, who was at Comic-Con this year? Raise your hand.
All of y'all. Almost.
San Diego Comic-Con is like the comic. It's like Kleenex. What kind of brand is it? What do you know, Comic-Con?
Like, tell me
They're all
something
wrong.
that would just make me so jealous.
Comic-Con was fun. It's it's like the biggest comic convention, and it's hundreds of thousands of people, right?
You can walk for probably 2-3 hours around the floor and never see a comic book. I don't know if that's a good thing.
I agree, and Dante and I were doing an interview this morning, and I was saying that I actually like slightly smaller cons because you do get a chance to see more, and you get a chance to interact with the fans more, and that place is now so commercialized that to me it feels more like this influx of networks who are just like pushing their latest show on you, and merchandise and money to be made and spent. And
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I remember walking past the Avengers Mansion ride,
Yeah.
and then one just to the left of Fox Tower, and I saw a couple of friends of mine from about 600 yards, and we waved. It's still very down home.
It is crazy. I mean, that being said, it's crazy. Like,
it's cool, but
where
I
you
just
think is crazy. You know what I'm saying? You get a little bit of that madness. I mean,
Yeah.
if you just want to say like vicariously some things that happened, like hanging out at the Walking Dead party was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
and then
I went to
Weezer
the
starts
Superman
playing
party.
out of nowhere. Like, I didn't know Weezer was gonna play. And like all these zombies walking around.
it's just it's a lot, and I just think that for me it's too much.
It's almost too much. It's like Vegas. You can only do a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I'm always ready to leave.
Like 48
real fast.
hours, and you're like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here right now. And then my boy's like, no, man, the Bates Motel party's like, no, I don't care about that party, dude. I need to go. Because you're tired, you don't get any sleep, you're drinking and more than you're eating. You're drinking alcohol more than, because it's like you go to a party and you're like, oh, it's free alcohol. And you're like drunk, walking around.
There's no parties with free food, are there?
No, there's free food. And so, like, I'm drunk, right? And then these Walking Dead guys I'm hanging out with because I met them at the Walking Dead party, right? And they're like, we produce the online content for Walking Dead, man. You're cool. I'm like, thanks, man. Walking Dead's awesome. They're like, let's go run through the Walking Dead apocalypse thing, right? And I'm like, I'm drunk. But this is cool. It's going to be like a...
Drunk apocalypse.
No, it's like, you think it's going to be like a haunted house. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I like haunted houses. It's going to be fun. They put a camera on my head. And then they interviewed me. And like, this is Dante Bosco, a.k.a. Rufio. We're about to rip up the apocalypse now. I'm like, bang-a-rang, bitches. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Next thing I know, I am running full speed from friggin' zombies. I'm climbing over 2-story things made of wood and under things. I'm in full sweat. Dude, it's a 20-minute full-on run. it's fight or flight going on. I'm like, who told me to do this? I got the camera on my head, looking at another guy. I'm like, dude, why are we doing this right now? There's people getting hurt. There's medics on like every corner.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Yeah, but it's fun. So if you get to go to Comic-Con, it's a really great time. But like these cons, like you said, we really get to spend more time with just like hanging out and just kind of hanging out and talking to folks. You know what I'm saying? That place is a little crazy.
Dear Dante, this is alcohol. It would be a great idea. You're handsome and fast. You can do anything. And you're a great dancer.
Is that a question? That's me.
Yeah. You're my favorite character from the Mad TV, you know, like Jack. Yeah, I asked you about Jack, you know. Yeah. Why Jack can stay? Yeah, why Jack can stay too one place too long? Why?
The UPS guy?
Yeah, you know.
So it's funny, I have to be clarified because I have Samurai Jack and Jack the UPS guy. One of them is a lot jumpier than the other.
I mean, what do you have, like an ATV or something? Yeah, you say.
He jumps up and down a lot because it's funny. There honestly is really no explanation. I honestly don't know why. I just started doing that because originally he was just sort of a bike messenger. But there was something, we were doing the scene about a guy trying to pick up a girl that was way out of his league. And that seemed to me to be something that would make a woman even more out of your league. If you could like, you know, just never really focus on anything, even like your body was, you know, hey, whoa, you're pretty.
I just totally made that association.
That was.
Oh, you didn't realize?
I'm such an idiot. He's so famous.
It's 20 years ago.
Dante,
Yeah.
can you, I don't know if you like know anything about this sort of script and stuff, but do you know anything about what happened to Zuko's mom?
That's
No spoilers, no spoilers.
Actually, I can't, you know, we're releasing the story on the comic books, so you gotta read the comic books. It's called, the second part's called The Search, where Zuko searches for his mother, Ursa, so they just released the second comic book, so it's very interesting. They're revealed by the next one, but I don't know. Actually, I kind of know certain things, but I can't say anything about it. But it's interesting. Check out the comic book. I just talked to the comic book illustrator at Comic-Con and told him I'll do some voiceover stuff just on my YouTube for the book. Woohoo.
Now they're warming up.
Alright, well, as long as we're talking about the comics, I want to talk about comics. And you're on the record as a Zutarian, right?
Yeah, I read guitar.
I was wondering about your opinions about the current situation with May.
No, I mean, you know, that's canon. So it's like I'm with that. I mean, I'm down with May and Zuko. I just in the fantasy world, in the shipping world. I'm like now I'm like talking like I'm with you because I'm just hanging out with it. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm down with Zuko May for sure. Like that's canon, and I'm with that in the world. But I'm just saying. During the whole filming of it and shooting of it, like I was always like Zuko Katara. And plus two things, like May Whitman's like my homie and she's like, I love May. And we did that and we were doing American Dragon where we played similar characters and kind of like love interest at the same time. And we were saying how ironic that our characters never end up together. It's kind of like this thing.
That's the main.
That's the thing. It happens to the best of us. But I just love Zutara, just like because I have all these philosophies about it. We'll talk about that later on, like a private Zutara meeting. Oh, I didn't read that second book yet. I didn't read the second book yet. I didn't buy it because the guy was like, I'm gonna send it to you. I can't wait to check it out. Maybe that's enough. I wrote a poem about it. It's only a 15-second Instagram poem. What is it? What is it? This was a Zutara poem for Zutara week this year. It went. Don't judge me, man. Here's the Zutara poem. Sometimes the things that hold on a second.
You need to look it up.
I might have to look it up on my Instagram, and I can say it to you by myself.
We'll come back to that.
Come back.
Ash, do you have a question?
Yeah, actually, I was just kind of interested because they were talking about Avatar, like comics, which actually until then I hadn't really been aware. Like I knew like in anime there's like book 1 and book 2 and stuff like that. But just like in general, like how is like comics and anime like related or different? I don't know. Just curious.
It's a big discussion. You know, the thing about we always talk about is like Avatar anime and what is anime. It's definitely anime inspired. Anime comes from Japan. It's Japan animation, and a lot of actors here have done the redubs on animation, which is awesome. And then Avatar is really anime inspired.
Anime adjacent.
Anime adjacent is like right next to it.
Well, I don't want to. I'm just going to show my ignorance early, so we can just know what the theme of DC all weekend.
Thank you, DC.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm
Show
going
us
to hold the
ignorance.
mic like Dante because it's so. I really feel like it's 8 Mile or something. Or like yo, check it out now. Check it out. You want to know about anime and manga, or is it manga, and is it anime? I don't know. No, but isn't this is for everybody? Is not. Oh boy.
Use your words.
All right. Damn you, vodka. No. Isn't. Oh, screw it. Let me do it in German. But if it's drawn on paper and you're looking at paper that is manga or a comic book, isn't it the same thing? It's just whether it's east or west. And same thing with anime. Or anime. If it's a moving image that is not with real people, then would that not be cartoons or animation or anime, depending if you're in east or west? It's the same thing. It all really kind of encompasses it. If you're talking about whether or not it's then alluding to Japanese mythology or the Eastern mythology, or well, there is no Western mythology except for rap music. I'll just leave it out like that. I pose the questions, man. I don't have the answers.
Thank you, DC, for confusing me.
I think there is a really big difference between them, and the main difference is prelay and dub. Because whenever you get something that's Japanese, the character's already created for you. You have like guidelines that you have to follow. You have to follow a certain script to make it match flaps that are already animated. And when you do prelay, you have a lot more freedom, and it's animated to what you said later.
Now,
I'm going to contradict that. Because it's a dubbing session or an ADR session. Like I've done shows out of Russia, out of the Ukraine. So anime is not synonymous with necessarily. You know, it's like a highway is a freeway, but a freeway is not always a highway, which I never understood. My dad tried to explain it when I was a child, and it still makes my head go pig. So yeah, I mean, we tend to use the term anime, you know, in the industry. It's like, you know, you're either doing prelay or you're doing anime, because it's become that.
Yeah.
Or Japanimation, which they used to call it.
So you're saying you've done shows from Russia that were dubbed?
That we were dubbed, you know, we were basically dubbing an English track into.
But you would not call that anime?
No. I would not call it anime. I think anime really specifically is, I mean, it does.
Anime, I think, is definitely
it means Japanese.
Japanese, Asian-esque. I agree with you on that.
Well, actually, this is a question I had for you guys. When they do the Japanese anime, it's not straight dubbing. Don't they actually, at times, rewrite the lines to make them...
Also, we just do it to make it fit.
Well, direct translations, like you guys saw, you know, old King Kong and stuff like that. If you do a direct translation, it's like, hey, look out! So it doesn't really work. So sometimes sometimes they have to translate the culture, because a lot of times Americans don't understand Japanese culture. So that's the director's job, to translate the culture or make it fit the flaps. You know, sometimes you have to add in a really or a totally, and then you know.
Or make it fit the flaps.
It would be
Or
so
make
much
it fit the
easier
network.
if they just had all characters always chewing gum. So however many flaps there are, like what you just did, you do what you just did, but don't make any sounds, and I'll do your voice.
Okay.
Hey, look out! So much easier. Why isn't anyone doing this out yet?
I just add really strange breaths. It really works if you just add in a breath, like, oh no! Such a cheater. I'm a big cheater.
They would also change things to fit the network because, you know, those Sailor Moons, they weren't cousins. What do you say? Especially the earlier stuff. I mean, we did like, what was it, card capture? You know, where they just basically destroyed the butcher the show to make it network safe.
Yeah. We should do maybe some more questions. Yeah, I get so many hands.
Top hat man.
Top hat.
Top hat man.
Scott will remember this question for a couple of times I've asked it. What is
Good,
the
then I don't have to
strangest what is the strangest bit character or most awkward bit character you've ever had to play? Scott, you remember this one.
I probably already answered this.
The tentacle monster?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Anytime it's like, oh dear God. Anything in hentai is weird.
I have like two big characters that became pretty popular, like in the Goofy movie. I say like this mine is like, yo baby, yo Stacy, talk to me, baby. It was like a T-shirt, right? But what they don't realize, I took that from a Jodeci song back in the day. And I did it in a session. They were like, Disney, like say something. I'm like, I like this Jodeci song. Talk to me, baby. That one, I mean, it's the Goofy movie. Probably the funnest little bit character.
I feel just by sitting next to you, I'm getting cooler and cooler. I hold my mic and now I'm going to start answering like this. So, for my big character was in a recent game that just came out, The Last of Us. The character has no name and his line is, I enjoy doing it.
There's always lots of those, like man in green shirt falling past window. Like the role that I felt I was born to play. Villager 27B-1.
Or Walla.
I put my soul into that.
Farmer and Field.
Farmer and Field, just a trading card.
I'll wait for my panel. I'm going to save the good stuff for my panel. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Wow, what a sour look the whole audience got.
Just back quietly under the DC.
Want to do another question? Question.
Beast Boy.
Hello.
Whoa.
Miss Brittany, you did the voice of Black Star in Soul Leader. Kind of a somewhat similar character to Naruto in this way, kind of.
A lot of people have said that to me, but I had not actually seen Naruto. No one get mad at me before that character.
That was my question. Yes.
And actually, I never played boy characters before, and I don't really have a realistic boy voice. So when they gave me the audition, I just kind of thought it was a joke. So I just did like the funniest thing I could think of. And that's why he's like so goofy and just like all the time. Like it's like I will surpass God. Like all the time. Yeah, but so we were actually, you know, halfway joking because I never thought realistically I would ever be cast as a boy character. And then everybody was like, that sounds a lot like Naruto. But it's not like what an actual boy sounds like, it's what a cartoon boy sounds like. Or what you'd expect a cartoon boy to sound like. You know, so, but I do use that comparison a lot.
Sound like a young boy.
Do I? Yeah, you close your eyes.
Trying to listen to you.
8-year-old boy.
Yeah. 8-year-old boy.
Yeah, definitely.
If you guys, a lot of times they do cast girls who play young boys because, well, yeah, boys hit puberty and they're like, we cast
Boys are stupid.
Well, you know, with Black Star in the Japanese, it was a girl too, and it's because I've realized that if he was a boy, it would not be as funny. Because that's the irony of the character, is that he talks about how big he is, now he's better than everyone else, you know, except for he's tiny and he talks like a girl. So, you know, that's why he's funny. If not, you'd be like, God, that guy's a jerk.
It is really common in the industry, though. I mean, you know, Bart Simpson, ton of them are because you know, as Dante said, it's hard to find a 7 or 8 year old kid who's got the chops and the act, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's cartoons, so anything can happen.
Well, and also, most grown men can't really get their voice down. Like, once you pass puberty, it's really hard to get the bottom out of your voice.
Yeah, you can't stuff them back up. Even the accident on the bicycle wouldn't do it.
And I just had an audition, like, can you have more bass in your voice? I'm like, damn, really?
That is.
I think one of the things about my voice is this certain age range, it's like there always, and it's like, it doesn't change. And I sometimes I'm like, well, let me try to do something else. Yeah, my little voice is just like this. Well, I came back in Avatar, in Legend of Korra, I came back to play my grandson, Iroh the second, you know, and so the thing about that is there was this cool idea, the fans would love it if you come back and you play this character. Now this character, you know, Zuko is a teenager, really, right? And Iroh comes back, he's a man. He's like 6'2", general of the Fire Nations. And then we're doing all this stuff like maybe you should lower your voice. And this is the thing, in live action you can come back and play someone in your family because it's Dante dressed in another character. And like, oh, we're all in on the joke. Voice acting is a different thing. Like, what the heck? So we're trying to change my voice, but then you change your voice and it's like, doesn't really accomplish what you're trying to do. Right. So we just went back to just Dante, just do your regular voice. And I'm like, this is never gonna work. And then the episode I come back, I turn around and I say like that one like line, like, I'll be there. And then my Twitter blew up. Like, oh my God! You know, Bright, they're always, they know what they're doing.
But that's our job as a voice actor. Is to voice.
Well, that's what we were talking about before. You know, like, it's not necessarily all about the voice sometimes, it's just the perspective. I mean, you know, Iroh the second, was it? Is coming at it from a very different place than Zuko. You know? But, and also they can, you know, pitch you down.
Yeah.
Computers, they can do stuff like that.
When I was a young lad and there to school, they taught us how to do that manually. That's what I own skill.
Actually, that's funny. I remember there's a character Maurice Lamarr does on Futurama.
Morbo.
And it's this very big, and for the first couple of episodes they treated it, you know, like he did a voice like this, and then they sort of like treated it to make it sound fuller, and then he saw it like, oh, why didn't you tell me that's what you wanted?
Yeah. And then he just did it.
He did the treatment himself.
I don't know if anybody ever seen League of Super Evil, which is a show I did, and with Voltar on that, originally they went, okay, we're really happy here, we think it sounds great, but then they did about a 6% pitch on it. Well, as soon as I heard it, I couldn't not.
Right.
And so they're like, Scott, oh shit, we don't have to pitch it.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we do.
Exactly.
We're weird. We're just weird.
I mean, I will say that I can only pitch up. This is like my bottom two. I don't get any lower than this. I can't play the evil villain unless it's a little girl. But I can pitch up, but that's it. I can't.
But no, we like
doesn't
your
go
bottom
any
just the
lower.
way it is.
I can but I can't go down at all.
It's very beautiful.
Question. Wow, they're flying up. It's like a field. Blue and lace, yes.
Sorry, this is a question for all of you. I know this is a very silly question, but from all your characters, who do you think fits you the most? I want to start with Brittany.